Mike, where are we? It's another day in paradise here at the Walk and Talk. We're down here in Miami, and we are at Don Pablo Coffee Roasters. So we're here down in the warehouse, and we are going to get to know Darren here. Darren is our sponsor for the channel, and we really want to get to know what this is all about. I'm extremely excited. You guys are a huge company as far as what you're doing for coffee, and you're expanding out and branching out. So we're going to learn a little bit about you and what you guys do down here.
I can't wait.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna head out now. We're gonna have some coffee. We're gonna have a beer or two and talk about cool stuff. So, thank you,
Darren. Great joining us this week. We want to get to know you, so we're going to do our normal rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So let's get started. So what's your favorite origin for coffee right now?
Honduras.
What's your favorite coffee roast strength?
So strength is interesting, but if we're going to talk about roast, then it's a medium dark roast.
How do you take your morning coffee?
Black.
What's your favorite food as a child?
Gotta be grilled cheese.
Biggest coffee pet peeve?
Cream and sugar.
What's your favorite cuisine?
Portuguese seafood.
How about a bucket list restaurant you've never visited?
One of those underwater ones, like in the Maldives. I think there's one called Sea.
How do you prefer your steak cooked?
Rare.
Is over roasting a coffee bean a thing?
Absolutely.
What's your favorite beer right now?
Something called Walk in the Clouds IPA by Creative Arts out of Wisconsin.
Are you an IPA junkie?
I love IPAs. I'm on the New England style IPAs.
If you knew you were going to have one final meal and you could choose it, what would it be?
Gotta be Mama's pot roast. Comfort food.
A coffee trend that you wish would go away.
A flat white.
What's a flat white?
It's from Australia. It's basically coffee with milk. Silly.
What's your favorite muscle car?
Dodge Charger 1970.
Most exotic thing you've ever eaten?
Scorpion on a stick. It was over roasted too.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
New York style pizza or Chicago style pizza?
Depends on the mood, but I'd probably go first for New York.
Favorite all-time band?
Aerosmith.
Espresso, drip, or pressed?
Drip.
Autobahn or the speed limit?
Autobahn for me, speed limit for everyone else.
The last one, the best piece of advice ever given to you?
From scripture would be love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength, and love your neighbors. You love yourself. Although there is something else. I don't know if it's advice, but somebody told me something a long time ago when we were struggling to get off the ground, and it was: first they ignore you, second they laugh at you, third they fight you, and fourth they accept you. And I thought that was pretty smart, and it was right on target.
That's a great piece of advice, especially for an entrepreneur. I can't even imagine. That says every little piece of it.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Carl's going to jump in here soon, and we're going to get a little in depth and find out more about Don Pablo.
Awesome. I'm excited. Thanks.
Darren.
Carl.
How are you, man?
I'm awesome. How about you?
I'm also awesome. Good to
Great.
see you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, you too. 10 years.
It's been 10 years.
Amazing.
I feel like it's longer than that.
How
but
time
it's-
flies, right?
God, it does. It does. So you're doing a lot of great things over here.
We're trying.
Right now we're enjoying bourbon infused coffee. First time I've ever had something like this.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a coffee drinker, and we've talked about this off camera, and it's so good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's excellent.
He's
Excellent.
he's a chef by trade, and every chef on planet Earth, they drink coffee, gallons of it,
Right.
along with scotch and bourbon and everything else.
Except Mike.
Right,
Uh,
right. So the fact that he's here and he's a testament to.
High praise.
So Chef Mike is gonna ask. We're gonna get into some questions and kind of we're gonna find out a little bit more about Darren Burke.
Okay.
Who is Don Pablo.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, so my father's an Irishman from Massachusetts. You're an Irishman from Massachusetts. So you started there. How did you grow? And tell me a little bit about your background as a younger guy.
Oh, well, I grew up in the woods of western Massachusetts, literally, in the woods with the river running by my house and stuff. A lot of solitude and peace and time to reflect, not a lot else going on. So I did that, went to school, high school like everybody else. And
Sure.
It was a great place to grow up, but I wanted to leave as soon as possible and see what else was out there in the world.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I went to Chicago. My father was living out there at the time. Lived with him, got a job, cleaning exhaust systems. Winter came, it got too cold. A friend of mine was in Alabama, went down to Alabama. And then while I was visiting him, I looked at the want ads in the paper, and I saw guys, gals, love to travel. You want to work? You make some good money? I'm like, yeah, man. So I went there, and it turned out to be a traveling magazine sales group.
That sounds
people.
really fun.
It was amazing. Mostly runaways. I wasn't a runaway, but we hooked up with them, a couple of vans full of kids around my age. We went all over the Southeast selling magazine subscriptions door to door.
That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. It taught me a lot about sales and
Sure.
influencing people and stuff like that at an early age.
So how did you go from that? And from my understanding, you moved into an entrepreneurial high school teacher.
Yeah, I mean, that was a long time after. I mean, I had probably had, if I said I had 3 or 4 dozen jobs, I wouldn't be exaggerating,
Sure.
Along the way.
So you've come a long way. I mean, we've known each other about 20 years.
Yeah.
And don't take this the wrong way. I almost want to say underachiever for a guy with your intelligence and your work ethic, right?
Okay.
What I mean is, you spent a lot of your 20s. Like if you would have put the energy back then,
absolutely.
right? I mean,
that's my biggest regret.
Right.
What I mean?
That's where I'm getting at.
But at the same time, if I didn't do all those crazy things, I probably wouldn't be right here, right now.
But there was this switch. So without going into what we all did, everybody's been a kid and everybody's done stupid stuff, whatever. But somewhere you made that switch and you became a high school entrepreneurial teacher. When you were doing that, I mean, number one, it had to be interesting because you wear a gazillion different hats as a teacher.
Yeah.
What did you see? I'm sure you saw in the youth, like, hey, guys, this is what I can teach you. But what drove you to be an entrepreneurial?
So I was living in Las Vegas. I had a friend. I was working at a liquor store on the Strip on the weekends.
Sure.
And a friend of mine was a teacher in the Clark County school system. And he said, hey, why don't you substitute teach? I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, you don't need a degree. I was working on one back then. I'm like, all right, let me try it. So I was all over Las Vegas, the rich areas, the poor areas, a lot of different areas, a lot of different experiences. It was fascinating in terms of like sociology and psychology and everything. I left Las Vegas after a while with that experience. I came to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to do this business, ever since I met my wife 30 years ago, and she took me to Colombia, and I fell in love with her, and I fell in love with good coffee. And I was just about to do it, but I had to, make some money. So I was substituting here in Miami. I was at one place teaching ESL for a week, and the principal comes in on a Friday and says, here's your keys, you start Monday. I'm like, what? I wasn't planning on being a teacher, but I'm an opportunist, so I'm like, okay, thanks. Emergency certification, I didn't need the whole certification and stuff, but it was it was a great experience, but it was really not a great situation as far as I had 50 kids in the classroom, 9th through 12th grade.
Oh, God.
ESE, the lowest level academic, with advanced placement, the highest level, all in one classroom. No books, nothing, right? So the subject was entrepreneurship. And I said, all right, I've had other businesses, in between all that.
Sure.
So I said, all right, let's do a cafe. We'll buy coffee from a local roaster. We'll repackage it under our own brand. And the kids came up with that themselves. It was grade A gourmet. And we had a cafe in the classroom. And it was a big hit. And people were coming every day. And we were making them ham, cheese, croissants. Ham, cheese, croissants, bacon, all these things we mixed together in like 10 different ways to make a menu.
Sure.
And it was a hit, man. And the kids were getting fat. Like the cheerleaders were coming in in the beginning of the year and eating the 2 croissants at a time with all this cheese. And by the end of the year, 300 pounds.
So the whole football team, they're all mad at you because they're like, "What are you doing?"
I destroyed the school. I destroyed the whole dynamics of the school.
I get it.
But so I was there 4 years. We made about $50,000. Gave it back to the kids in scholarships. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it worked out
Very
so
cool.
good. I mean, making lemonade out of lemons. And, so a new administration came in, made it really difficult for me, and my eyeball was jumping. I mean, it's really hard to teach kids, number one.
Sure.
Any teacher will tell you. And in an inner city and in a situation like that, I had to get out. So we got out, we started this company.
I mean, you brought in some of those kids in the beginning with the company to actually work.
Yeah.
I remember, I recall
I did. You remember Wilma?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wilma was great, and I had like 2 or 3 other ones, and they learned. I mean, I know they're out there now doing different things and being productive, and it was like a circus, but we made money, and the kids could see firsthand how
that there
stuff
was
works.
a way to make it work.
There's a way to get out of where they're at. Yeah, I mean, and that's a huge thing, knowing that there is an opportunity. If you see it, you can realize it. You can think about it. You can do it.
You're right.
Right.
It'll open up a lot of eyes.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a huge service to the community.
I mean, I didn't come up with the idea of a business in the classroom. I remember from L.A. after the riots from Rodney King.
Sure.
I think it was that. They were doing these victory garden type things and growing, in the inner cities and stuff. And then they were selling vegetables and making money that way. And there was one called Food from the Hood. which I remember from a long time ago. And I looked at that and studied that and said, wow, that's really amazing. So we kind of tried to do the same thing.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So Carl tells me there's a picture floating around with you behind a Think Big billboard.
Yeah.
So you've got that entrepreneurial, you need to get something done, and you've mentioned Don Pablo Coffee and you've been wanting to do it. But where did you hit the point of this is my idea to I'm going to run with this and I'm going to make it happen?
So, I, like 30 years ago, I met my wife, who's Colombian. Met her in the fashion mall over here in Plantation.
Sure.
I didn't know much about Colombia except the bad stuff or whatever. And
Sure.
She was pretty and cool, so I said, let's see what we can do here. And I fell in love with her within like 2 weeks.
Sure.
Sweetest person I ever met in my life. And funny and just wonderful. She took me to meet her family in Colombia. And first time I'd ever been out of the country, really, and I was just blown away by the lush green mountains, and the people were so warm and friendly and welcoming and stuff. So that was the first day, and then the next day,
The mission bell was ringing, and it was time to get married.
well,
No?
something like that. I'm going to fast forward. But the next day, I want to tell you this. They made me a cup of coffee, right? And
Sure.
I was drinking Folgers and 8 o'clock and stuff like that growing up, and it was put a lot of cream and sugar in there, and it was a caffeine delivery device. You use it to wake up in the morning and get motivated. So they gave me this cup of coffee the next morning, and it was like amazing, like rich and smooth and clean, and I was like blown away. And people were like, why is he acting so funny? Because I wanted to know more, And so what happens is, if you live in Colombia, either you grow coffee or your uncle does or your cousin or whatever.
Sure.
And very soon I was on a coffee farm, and then I was hooked right away.
And so you saw that, wanted to bring it back here and give that experience to people who are stuck on the Folgers and the Maxwell, whatever it is, everything out there is such mainstream. You saw such a great thing down there that there was just, in your head, you're like, I got to get this.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I always wanted to be in business for myself. I knew that already.
Sure.
Just waiting for some inspiration or a good product or something like that. And this coffee was so good, I started bringing Colombian brands back to parents and cousins and whatever, neighbors, and everybody had the same reaction.
Sure.
So in my head, and I was very naive now, that was going to be my business. So, I didn't have any money, I didn't have any education, and so it was, 30 years ago to fast forward to 16 years ago now, and we started it. But then I found out how freaking hard it is to compete against the big giant companies.
Right. Sure.
Now it's a little easier because you got Amazon and online sales, but
Yep.
back then, head to head with, the big boys,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Who would you say has influenced you the most in the coffee business?
Okay, so Gustavo Rincon is my partner,
Okay.
and fourth generation Colombian coffee farmer.
Sure.
And I met him probably 12, 13 years ago in Colombia, and he taught me everything I know about growing coffee. We're growing coffee together, and he's an amazing person. Plants plantain trees and orphanages, and he's just got a heart of gold. And we made him, because of all that, we made him our Sharing Certified Administrator, which is our program that helps farmers, with their own lives and the lives of people in their communities, and also to improve the quality and stuff. Called sharingcertified.org.
Okay, well, check it out. SharingCertified.org. It's right down there. Carl, make it
can't-
happen and put it in there.
Can't resist a plug, sorry.
No, of course. That's why we're
Just
here.
trying to sell a bag of coffee.
I just
over
want to
here.
sell a bag of coffee.
Starting your own business, it's not easy, okay? How hard was it to take it from your idea to
So
opening something up?
I remember a day, however many years back that was, and Carl, hey, meet me at the pier. Come on, meet me at the pier. Let's have a beer. Okay, fine. So we go over here to wherever that the pier is over here.
Yeah, Sunny Isles.
Sunny Isles.
Yeah.
And there's a little tiki bar on the pier. So we sit down, burger, a couple of beers, and he flips me a business card, right? That he made. I don't know. You made it on like
A
I don't
printer.
know.
A cheap printer.
The cheap
yeah.
printer. And it is basically it's basically the beginnings of the logo, and the whole Cafe Don Pablo, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like what are you doing? So he gets into the story about, well, Ileana and the farms, and I have this love and a desire. Man, a lot of hard work. A lot of hard
man,
work.
crazy hard work, and it was important to be naive, like I was saying earlier, to be able to do it because if
Sure.
I had to believe I could do it. Got a lot of good people around us, obviously. I mean, if it wasn't for the team of people that we have, it wouldn't be possible. But
Sure.
it's super hard, and it's super hard to come up against huge competitors in an industry that doesn't have a lot of people. Do you know there's only 4 companies that control 95% of all the coffee globally? All the coffee brand
It's
names.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Crazy.
So how do you break into that 95%? I mean, it's
So yeah, the idea was like I knew, well, I thought that you produce something better quality and sell it at a competitive price,
Sure.
and you'd win. But I didn't realize all the obstacles that these big companies would put in front of us
Yeah.
on that. So it was a lot of going around the warehouse clubs and doing demos and road shows and stuff like that. And we've been very fortunate. We've been blessed. We've had miracles. I
Sure.
mean, if it wasn't for the miracles, we wouldn't be here. It wasn't me for sure doing it on my own strength.
Sure. But you had the drive, and it's always continued to drive you through, and you remember back to having that first.
I don't think
cup of
you can.
coffee.
I don't think you can get to a level like this.
Yeah.
Without the, it's not like you can be bestowed a mountain of cash to go have fun and play with.
Yeah.
So when you start with nothing and you build something from nothing, there's determination there.
Sure.
There's definitely, you have to be driven. And I'm not talking for you. I'm just saying, like,
In general, yeah, it makes sense. But I will say that I had already gotten myself into it, right? Like other people committed, left their jobs.
Well, you jumped head first, and you
I
started
jumped head
dragging
first.
people with you, so you
People
had
came
no
with me,
choice.
That was the thing. I had no choice for a long time. I was on a roller coaster, and I had to hang on for dear life. You know what I mean? And I don't give up either. I mean, somebody said it to me one time before. I never really thought about it, but he said, "You're like a pit bull. You grab onto the leg, and you never let go." I'm like, all right.
I'll take it.
With your success and you've grown so large, you're starting to venture out a little bit and getting your hands into some beer, I hear.
Yeah, I thought for a long time that it would be good to sort of diversify because.
And you don't like beer yourself.
Oh no, I don't touch this stuff. Are you
Right,
kidding me?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a teetotaler. I've been drinking beer for a long time, and I
Right.
know it's good, right? So,
Cheers to that.
and yeah, I wish. So, my wife is wonderful. I told you that. We've already established that. And
Yeah.
how much I love her, but she would not let me do a brewery for many years. And she's got good in her heart, and she doesn't want anybody to get hurt. Drink
yeah.
too much or whatever. So that was, that was a problem because I wanted to do it. Finally, she gave up.
Happy
and
wife,
said,
happy life, right?
You know
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's how it works. Finally, she allowed it. We bought a pilot system, and I didn't use it for 2 years because I was afraid of it. Because I had brewer friends, and they were like, "Oh, and they're talking about water and the pH levels and all this chemistry and stuff like that." So I didn't think I could do it. Finally, I got sick of it. I pulled it out of the box and started making beer, and I made awesome beer right away. The first batch. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? So
Well,
again,
wait a minute. So I think you have some in the fridge, right?
I have some.
I think we should
It's not
probably.
our own, but it tastes exactly like what we produce.
Okay, all
So
right.
that's
I'm
why.
thinking we should probably hit that too.
Let's hit it.
So Darren, we're back. We've got some beers here, handcrafted beers. What? I know you're in the process of putting together some really good product. What's it called?
Blah blah blah.
All right. Okay. All right. No, but what's the name of it though?
Blah blah blah.
Oh, what is this? Like some crazy
Blah,
who's
blah,
on
blah,
first sort of it? What? Oh.
Blah blah blah.
Right
Blah
here.
blah blah.
Yeah.
There it is. It's great. It's a play on word. It's
Yeah,
funny. It's funny.
You like
we
that?
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we know how to make good beer, but we're not snobs.
Sure.
So, the name kind of says it. Like, instead of trying to fool you with all this different, all these adjectives of how good it is and stuff, it's just like blah, blah, blah. You either like it or you don't like it. But excellent quality ingredients, small batches, and fresh.
Sure.
Great hops. Fresh
And it's an
harvested.
IPA, right?
We do. I love IPAs, so I
Sure.
make IPAs. This is not ours, but tastes exactly like ours. Fully hopped, citrus, and it's
so good.
hazy. It's a New England style.
So when are we to expect this to come out?
Well, we just bought a building in Alapata. You know Alapata, right?
I do, very
A lot of
well.
Produce. Your
very-
company's there, isn't it?
So we were, we're 3 warehouses removed from Alapata. but the area has really changed,
Yeah,
and
you
it's a
got
beautiful.
Wynwood over there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so we looked at it as like a good investment because it looks like what happened in Wynwood is going to happen in Alpata also. So we're going to use that building to brew beer, bring in the big tanks, probably either 10 or 30 barrel system, which is small. You know,
That's
it's
still
small.
a-
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
small-
yeah, yeah. That is absolutely a small. You know, I have friends that open up down in South Florida, and that's how they started.
Yeah.
And blah 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
it is
blah.
again. That's where blah 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 is gonna go because
where
they're gonna
it comes
shoot up.
That's where it comes from.
God willing, you know what I mean? But it's going to be a great space, and it's going to be, you know, like rustic and cool.
You're gonna kind of be like the Willy Wonka of beer,
I'd
right?
like to
You,
be,
get, you
yeah.
have to make like the whole, you know, like a theme park, right?
Why not? Yeah, you
The
can
beer-
help. You can help design it.
I'm
if
in
you
it.
want.
I am down for that.
I like that. Willy
100%.
Wonka, yeah.
So let's get back to the community. Let's get back to, you know, I hear that you're going down to South America, Central America, and you've got a really great show that you're looking to put out there. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
What's
Yeah.
it called?
It's called The Coffee Fix.
Okay.
And we shot our first episode now. We've got a bunch of episodes lined up that are going to be awesome. And Scott, our creative media director, and I have been traveling, you know, basically the world. That's him over there behind the camera. And we've been talking about this show for a long time, you know, that we wanted to go and sort of do a pimpier ride for entrepreneurs in Latin America,
Sure.
you know, in lesser developed countries. People that are out there trying to work hard and feed their families. But economics are such that it's a lot harder than it is here
Sure.
to do that. So we want to take the benefit of our experience that we've had in this business and try to help them, you know, either start or improve their businesses. And we add a little financial incentive too, and some backing. And it's easy to do because it's Latin America and it's a lot less expensive over there.
Sure.
So we spent, I don't know how many times we went to Guatemala, probably 4 or 5 or 6 maybe, 4 times. And we found a family that is awesome, some Mayans, some indigenous Mayan people, excuse me. And getting all choked up, such a good movie, such a good show. Anyway, we found these people, they're super sweet and super hardworking, and they're selling handicrafts in the street. And they told us that it was hard for them to do that because people don't want to buy in the street, they want to go to a retail store.
Sure.
So we said, hey, why don't we get these folks a retail store? And we did that, and they just ran with it. You know, we helped them, we gave them a little bit of help, you know, a little financial help, and we put some ideas back and forth, and they ran with it, and they opened up this beautiful retail shop.
And that's all it takes. It's just it's like a little push.
Yeah.
It's a little push, a little help, and all of a sudden you're literally changing the lives of families.
Absolutely.
And you know it's not just the immediate family, because you know that they're going to end up, that's going to spread. That's going to
ripple effect.
It's a ripple effect. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's really beautiful.
Hey, it's great, and we can do it, and we love to travel. It's a total win-win.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So.
Oh, it sounds like a horrible gig for you.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all that traveling and eating in restaurants and stuff.
Oh, my God,
And and of course we do the restaurant part. You'd appreciate that.
Oh,
We've got
yeah.
that, you know, we visit with chefs and talk. And what we did was in this episode, we went to one restaurant that I've been going to for a while, and I really love it. And talked to one of the chefs there, and we discovered black river salt.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the heck is that? And we tasted it, and we thought that was interesting and it was cool for the episode. I went to sleep in the hotel that night, and I woke up, and as my eyes are like focusing on the wall, there's a picture on there, black river salt from Guatemala, from a place. You know, there's a plaque in my room that wasn't in any of the other rooms, 300-room hotel or whatever it was, you know, and it was about where it was, Sacapulas. So I told Scott, and he said, hey, we got to go there. So we went there, and we found the one guy that makes black river salt basically in the whole world. And we did a story on him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see
Hey,
this episode.
It's cool.
Hey, Chef Mike,
Yeah.
how cool would that be to have in your kitchen?
Oh, I'd go crazy for it.
Right?
I mean,
'Cause that-
come on.
'cause you would
There's
have that
only
on your
one
menu.
guy in the world who's
Yeah.
making it, and you know.
Tell me that wouldn't look great on your menu,
Of course it would.
right?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know.
Black
Taste
river
it.
salt. I mean, how great
From
is
Guatemala, yeah, like
that? Guatemalan black river salt.
correct.
Yeah.
Might be coming to a menu to a restaurant near you to follow. Let's see. Let's see what happens there.
See what happens. We'll see what happens.
So we got other episodes lined up. One of the next ones is and I've been doing these Zoom chats because of this virus situation.
Sure.
With a chief in the Amazon rainforest.
Get out of here.
8 hours into the rainforest on a boat. And
Did you go? Did you do it?
No, we can't go because the travel is restricted. But I've been doing Zoom chats with the guy. And he speaks Portuguese, but we got a translator. He's an indigenous chief. He's got the feathers, the headdress, like
Sure.
here, and indigenous people here. And it's pretty amazing. And his father planted some coffee maybe 25 years ago or something like that.
Sure.
And they just let it, drop to the ground and rot basically because they don't know how to take care of it.
So you're able to. So you and Gustavo are going to go and try to
Exactly.
resurrect the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to make for a great show.
And
Amazon rainforest.
what's that going to do for their village?
Oh, that's talking about ripple effects.
Yeah.
Psh, that's what they want. They want to be more self-sustaining. So this is going to help them a lot. And we're going to buy the coffee.
Do they have? Is there an economic source? Is there something happening there now? Like how are these people living?
There are a lot of foundations and stuff, but they don't want to take money for nothing. They're
Right,
proud
right,
people, and
right.
they know. They don't want to.
They want to work for what they get.
They want to work for what they get,
Yeah,
and they want to maintain
that's
their
awesome.
lifestyle.
And you're able to support because you're going to purchase the
We're
coffee
gonna buy
from
the
them.
coffee. It's total win-win.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, being able to give back to the places that you're getting these beans. I mean, let's face it, you're going through hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds of coffee bean every
Millions,
year.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And being able to give back to those people is, that's awesome.
It works for us. It works for them. It's fun for other people.
And you
that
can't wait
watch.
to get on that canoe and get through there.
I can't wait.
I know,
man.
yeah,
I can't wait.
That's
You know
gonna
it,
be
man.
bad.
I
That's
can't
gonna be
wait.
badass.
They're
Yeah.
all musicians. The village, that particular group of people are into music big time, and you can look it up on YouTube. And they do this wonderful music. So I mean, it's like you got music, you got Brazil rainforest, you got boat rides, you got coffee, you got cool characters. It's just so awesome. So we're excited. So another episode is my wife's cousin is going to in Colombia has opened up a butcher shop, and we've helped already
Okay.
fund some some coolers and stuff. And these people are super, super entrepreneurial. I know her a long time, like 30 years, since she was like this big.
Mm-hmm.
Heart of gold, very hardworking. Her father, poor guy. He was my biggest friend in the little tiny town in Colombia for many years.
Sure.
Loved to drink, the guy. And
Horrible.
yeah, and we'd get fresh squeezed orange juice and aguardiente, the Colombian liquor and stuff. Anyway, he passed away, and he was sick for a while, and she was there every day, helping him with his transfusions and all the stuff that he needed. Heart of gold. If anybody needs any help, a leg up, as they say, it's her. And her husband's great too.
Sure.
So we're going to do that, and we've got some great ideas about how to increase the business, opening up some satellite locations with little food carts and stuff in the town, actually cooking the meat.
Yeah. On the
and
street.
serving
Yeah,
on the street.
yeah. You get the street cars. That's awesome.
They don't have it in Colombia. Not like
Really?
other places, like in Thailand.
Yeah,
and
where they
even
have just
Mexico.
street food everywhere.
Yeah, and it's an institution. It's cultural there. They don't really have it in Colombia, So I think we can take that experience and transfer it to their benefit and the benefit of everybody that's eating it.
Talk about something from nothing.
Right?
That's a whole brand new. I don't want to say industry, but application or whatever.
Yeah, it's amazing how things happen out of ex nihilo.
Ex nihilo,
Yeah,
something from nothing.
Something from nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. A little Latin there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
What'd you call me?
Here.
What? Okay.
Okay.
People call them stuff all the time. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
Have you seen Booze Traveler?
Uh-uh.
Oh, you haven't seen Booze Traveler?
Booze
It's
Traveler?
an Irish guy. You know this? I told you about it. Booze Traveler. So he's a guy basically doing the same thing, going all over the world, but he's doing it for booze. Finding out how people in Tibet drink, what do they drink and stuff.
Oh
The
God.
guy gets hammered everywhere he goes, and it's fun. They're drinking yak milk and whatever.
That sounds
liquor.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would want to be a part of that.
Me too.
I know you for sure, but I also would like to do that. That sounds freaking amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Booze
Booze
Traveler.
Traveler. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I don't see it anymore, but I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube. And I thought it was fascinating. The guy's really cool too. He's like a Boston guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a really high tolerance. I mean, way higher than.
Oh, of course.
mine.
Well, it was in
You're
his
traveling
baby
the world
bottle,
drinking
right?
booze.
Right,
yeah.
right.
The mom's like, "Yeah, shut up."
Yeah,
put
here,
the-
take
drink
this scotch and go out and play.
Just in traffic. Don't hit the car. Whatever. Darren, man,
Yes.
today was awesome. really we appreciate you putting some time in.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, seriously. We're looking forward to seeing the new show as that unfolds. Looking forward to the beer. Looking forward to the bourbon coffee. Like, you got a lot of stuff going on, man.
Hey, what about the coffee spice?
And the coffee spice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man,
I
you
forgot
got
about
a
the coffee spice.
You got and there's also the coffee spice. So
Well, if you check out our Instagram, you're going to see some shots that are coming up. We got it's in retail packaging. I think you're putting it
Right.
on Amazon right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So we'll try to get some links below so that you guys can find what he's doing with the spices. But I think it's something that is not being done. People do coffee rubs.
Yeah.
But this is something a little bit different.
The difference between the coffee rub, when you get that rub, that coffee was roasted probably months ago.
Sure.
And it's been ground.
longer.
And it deteriorates quickly when
Right,
it's ground.
right.
So the flavor is completely different. This is in a spice bottle, and you're grinding it right on your meats.
not to mention, you guys. So Don Pablo, everything you're doing is just in time, right?
Right, absolutely.
So everything is fresh. This isn't product you're gonna, you walk into some, giant warehouse and it's been, whatever's on the shelf has been sitting there for 8, 9, 10 months or something like that. You're moving product here. Really, it's in and out.
We roast to order. We get 3 shipments of green coffee a week, right? We're talking about, you've seen the warehouse.
Sure.
We're talking about a lot of coffee. So that comes only fresh crop. See, that's the other thing. The big companies, they'll use like past crop, 1, 2, 3 years sometimes, a lot cheaper, no flavor. So they roast it really dark so they get some kind of flavor out of it, but it's not good quality. So we get it fresh crop, and then we roast it to the PO, which, we're dealing with some big companies out there.
Sure.
Big warehouse clubs, and we move a lot of product on Amazon. Nobody's roasting to the PO.
Purchase order.
Yeah, right to the purchase order. We get an order, and it's not sitting in a DC someplace waiting for an order. We roast it.
Distribution center.
Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, we stamp the purchase order right on it,
Right.
and it doesn't go to the distribution center. It goes right to the customer, and it's either a warehouse club which moves through it. They don't have warehouse clubs. What you see is what you get.
Because that's the slot.
That's the warehouse.
The slot is there. That's the warehouse.
yeah.
the whole
Darren,
thing.
where are we finding your product?
You got Costco, Sam's Club. We're burning it up on Amazon, Walmart.com. We just got into Kehi, which is a big distributor.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, we're up in the Northeast, up in Jersey,
Sure,
and
sure.
New York, and
And Mom, Dad, and we'll get you some coffee.
Please,
And we'll put the
yeah.
links. We'll put the links in the video as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Perfect. Well,
Thank
Darren, thank you for taking the time. It's the first time I met. You guys got to catch up. You've known each other for over 10 years, but I mean, it's an amazing facility that you have here,
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations on your success.
Thank you. Great meeting you, Mike. Any friend of Carl's, it's going to be top shelf. So
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, it's been another day in paradise here at the Walk and Talk, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.